Now, to continue our coverage over Johnathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers, we actually pick up with New Avengers number 32. Now, with that being said, we pick up with the Multiverse Avengers. Now remember, this was a group of characters that were put together by Sunspot as a way to travel around the multiverse to figure out why the multiverse is dying. Now, of course, we do know why. Because of the Beyonders. And at this point, the heroes back in the main Marvel universe, they know why the multiverse is dying. Because of the Beyonders. Now, this is where things get very interesting. Because right now, we pick up with the Multiverse Avengers who are trying to figure out why the multiverse is dying. They find a map maker. Now, the map makers are another creation of the Beyonders as a way to make a map of the multiverse, like their name says. Now, here comes the thing though. We have the Multiverse Avengers trying to access the data of the map maker to hopefully find a map that could take them to the creator of the map maker, of course, the Beyonders. Now, they do find the data, which of course they do find the map. But here comes the problem though. They have to travel far across the multiverse. And that is where Nightmask comes in, because Nightmask has the ability to help them travel across the multiverse. But of course, here comes the big problem though. But now, before I tell you what the problem is, I want to explain Nightmask is. Nightmask was made by Ex Nihilo to be the perfect human, which he almost was. But then, thanks to the White event, he was given some powers. And of course, one of those powers is for him to be able to travel across the multiverse with ease. Except when he does use that power, he does lose years in his life. Meaning that the more he uses it, the quicker he could die down the road. And right now, he tells everyone this could be the last time they see him because he has to use a lot of energy. And when he does that, he does use up the rest of his life to be able to take the Multiverse Avengers across the multiverse. And so with the Multiverse Avengers traveling across the multiverse, they are confronted by the Beyonders. Now, before we get into the big moment that a lot of you guys were waiting for, let me explain who is on this team right now, the Multiverse Avengers, because you have Thor, Hyperion, Starbrand, Ex Nihilo, Abyss, and all the brothers and sisters of Ex Nihilo as well, to give the team some backup. Now, of course, when they are confronted by the Beyonders, it's just two Beyonders. But these two Beyonders are going to show us why they're so powerful. Because, of course, when they arrive, they tell the Multiverse Avengers, yeah, we are the ones who are going around basically destroying the multiverse, and there is nothing you can do that could actually stop us. Now, of course, with our heroes, they're like, no, we are gonna try. We are gonna try to stop you. And so, of course, you have Ex Nihilo, Abyss, and all their brothers and sisters, the Ex Nihilis, just run in. They run in and they try their best to actually stop a Beyonder. Keyword A. Mean one Beyonder, and they were able to get rid of one Beyonder. And so you have the other Beyonder get angry because he just lost his brother or sister. We have no idea what gender that Beyonder was, but of course he's upset. And so with that being said, you have this Beyonder just go full on crazy mode and start beating down on the last three heroes standing, Thor, Hyperion, and Starbrand. He rips off Thor's arm like it was nothing. He almost blinds Hyperion. On top of that, he stabs Starbrand as well. Now, here comes the problem though. With him stabbing Starbrand, that means Starbrand is unable to contain all that energy inside of him. Now remember, Starbrand was a character who was first introduced to us at the very beginning of Johnathan Hickman's run. And Starbrand at first did not want to be a hero, but as the run went on for Johnathan Hickman, this character did change from somebody not wanting to be a hero to being a hero. But of course, with all that energy inside of him, not being able to be controlled, he has to release it. And so he was able to get rid of the second Beyonder. So now both Beyonders are dead. But of course, there were a lot of deaths to just take out 2 Beyonders. Of course, there are more of them out there in the multiverse just destroying the multiverse. And so we're now just left with Thor and Hyperion. Now they know they are going to die. And the reason why? Because they know more Beyonders are going to come here very soon. And with just 2 Beyonders, most of the Multiverse Avengers are now dead, which means it comes down to Thor and it comes down to Hyperion to work together to hopefully stop the rest of this army of Beyonders that is on its way to this location. And so you have Thor and Hyperion kind of like saying, we're brothers to the end. We are going to die together to the end because we know there's no way we can stop an army of Beyonders. Now, here comes the big thing though. Thor is unable to pick up his hammer. Now, remember, this is not his original hammer. This is another Thor's hammer from a different universe, in a universe where the Avengers are bad. And so, of course, with that Thor, for his hammer to be picked up, you have to be unworthy. Not worthy, unworthy. And so, with Thor telling Hyperion that they will fight together to the end against this army of Beyonders, the hammer tells Thor, you are worthy. You are worthy, not unworthy. You are worthy, which means that if Thor was near Jane Foster right now, he could have taken his hammer back from her at this point in Marvel Comics. But getting back into the big moment that you guys have been waiting for, once Thor and Hyperion realize that this was their end, they do run heads on to fight against the army of Beyonders. And they only last for a few seconds. And that is the death of Hyperion and Thor, which of course is kind of like one of the best scenes in Marvel Comics because they went out like brothers in arms to only die in like 10 seconds. But of course, we now know we have to move on. Now, we do pick up with Avengers number 43. And when we do, we pick up with the Illuminati. Now, this moment right here takes place 2 weeks in the past. Now, with that being said, though, we pick up with the Illuminati visiting Tony Stark. Because remember, he was locked up in prison after he thought he had the ability to take down the Cabal, but he lost that battle. And so he was locked up in a prison cell. And so right now, it's basically the Illuminati finding the cell that Tony Stark is locked in. And of course, now they're wondering what should they do with Tony Stark, because Steve Rogers and S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers are on their way here to basically work together to figure out how to save their universe. But if Steve Rogers sees Tony Stark in this cell, it could basically lead to Steve Rogers getting very angry, because we have to remember in an earlier storyline, we were told there was a meeting between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Now, we have no idea what happened at that meeting, but you do have Black Panther and the rest of the Illuminati tell us, thanks to that meeting, it led to Steve Rogers deciding that the Illuminati must be captured. They must be locked away. And it's all because of the meeting that Steve Rogers had with Tony Stark. But again, we have no idea what happened in that meeting. But either way, you do have Black Panther break open the cell to let Tony Stark leave. And he tells Tony Stark, do not come back. You need to stay away because you are the reason why we're in this position now. Now, we do jump 2 hours before the present moment, where you have Gladiator telling the entire Earth that they are about to be wiped out. Because remember, Gladiator and his Shi'Ar Empire, they learn that if they are able to get rid of the Earth, then they could possibly save their universe. And so right now, you have the Shi'Ar Empire and other space empires all here together, getting ready to blow up the Earth as a way to save the universe. And they're telling everyone across the Earth, you are about to be wiped out. You are about to be murdered. And so, of course, you have Steve Rogers tell S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers and the Illuminati, we need all hands on deck. Things just got real right now. Now, we do pick up with a conversation that did take place between Steve Rogers and Reed Richards. Now, this conversation is very important. And the reason why, because even though the Earth is about to be blown up, you still have Steve Rogers tell us that he still thinks about Tony Stark, how he hates Tony Stark, how he wants to bring him in and make him pay for all the crimes that he has done. Now, of course, you do have Reed Richards tell us that when it comes to Tony, we have to remember that Tony has done a lot of great things for us to help us protect the Earth. Now, this is also the moment you have Reed tell Steve that when it comes to Tony and Reed, Reed is smarter than Tony Stark. But Tony is better at multitasking than Reed is. Because when it comes to Tony, Tony can think about different problems across the board. But when it comes to Reed, Reed has to only focus on one. And so with that, you have Reed say, listen, Steve, when it came to me and Tony, while Tony was trying to help us figure out how to save the multiverse, he was also working on a different project. And that project was him taking over a computer system that basically pilots a world killer ship that used to belong to the Builders, the one the Avengers got all the way back in Infinity. And so this is Johnathan Hickman bringing back the World Killer for this storyline, because the World Killer is now under the Avengers' control, and they can use that as a way to protect the Earth from the Shi'Ar Empire and the other space empires that are here right now. Now, the Avengers have another weapon they can use as a way to protect the Earth. And the other weapon was made by Advanced Idea Mechanics. Because remember, Sunspot, an old X-Men character, had a lot of money. And with that money, he was able to buy Advanced Idea Mechanics and make those scientists work for him to make different things. And they were able to make another powerful weapon. Now, of course, this powerful weapon is basically a weapon that is able to take all the energy from the Earth and turn it into some kind of beam, a blast, to fire at the Shi'Ar Empire and the other space empires. And so with that being said, it's really the Avengers, the Illuminati, bringing out all the big guns as a way to say, you may come to Earth and think that you have the ability to wipe us out, but we have powerful weapons to protect us left and right. And right now, you guys have messed up. Now, these two weapons they're using right now, it basically only gives them a short amount of time to relax. And the reason why, because Advanced Idea Mechanics told Sunspot their new weapon, it takes a lot of energy, but at the same time, it needs to rest. And so with that, you have Sunspot ignoring what they said and kept using that weapon over and over again. And so with them using the weapon over and over again, it just died. It died right there. And so now they're down to the World Killer. But with them now only focusing on one powerful weapon, the World Killer was taken out just like that. And so now the Avengers, the Illuminati, both their powerful weapons are now gone. And Earth is now defenseless. Now the Shi'Ar Empire and the rest of the empires have the ability to just wipe the Earth out. There's nothing the Avengers and other heroes can do to actually save the Earth, because now their two most powerful weapons that they had under their control is no longer around. And you have Gladiator say, blow it up. Blow up the Earth now. But then we jump into one of the craziest moments of all time. And the reason why I say that is because we pick up with the Illuminati telling us, no, the Earth still has hope. There is still one more weapon we can use. And that is the moment you have Johnathan Hickman remind us about the rogue planet. Now remember, this was a planet that was sent through the universe by an Iron Man from the future. And the reason why Iron Man from the future has sent this rogue planet to crash into the Earth is because he wanted the two planets to combine together as one. And then the Earth can use the energy from the rogue planet for different reasons. But at the same time, if the Earth ever needs to be phased out of existence or phased away from its original spot in the universe, they can do that and replace the Earth with the rogue planet. Now, this is where things get even crazier, because then you have Reed tell us that the whole time the Illuminati has been keeping in contact with Tony Stark. And right now you have Tony Stark flying to the sun. And there's only one reason why he is flying to the sun. And that reason why? Because of Soul's hammer. Remember, that was a weapon Johnathan Hickman made a while back in his run, but it wasn't used hardly ever throughout this run. And so it's Johnathan Hickman saying, I'm finally going to use it. Soul's hammer, a weapon that was placed near the sun as a way to use the sun as a way to blast heat energy towards all of the empires who are right now surrounding the Earth. It was a weapon that Tony Stark knew that sooner or later they were going to need. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.